Hello, everybody. At the heart of innovation in organizations, there are apparent paradoxes, phenomena that oppose and complement one another at the same time. I will explore 4 paradoxes and offer 4 leadership tips. The first is around the question, should innovation be managed by a small elite or should it involve all people? It is, of course, useful to have a strategy for innovation, to analyze payoffs, resources, and risks, articulate a vision, define objectives, and actionable projects. And the decisions that transform the visions into value fall upon leaders. This is top-down innovation. It is also valuable to mobilize the creative skills that all people have so that everybody is actively involved in the organization's future. This is bottom-up innovation. So what's best, top-down or bottom-up? Both, actually. Leaders must make the decisions they have to make, and they must invite people to generate creative change. Tip number 1 then involves roles in the organization process. Design strategy formally and engage people in innovation. Your innovation-friendly CEO would make an announcement like, our leadership team will formulate our innovation strategy and roadmap with the milestones, projects, resources, and systems to get there. We expect everybody to actively contribute ideas to the design of the strategy and the execution of our roadmap. The second paradox is centered on how much innovation should come from individuals and how much from teams. Of course, all wealth is created by people working together. In innovative organizations, people brainstorm. They share ideas, they define roles and responsibilities. They have tasks and deadlines. They take action. Effective teamwork is non-negotiable in innovative organizations. But it's in fact very rare for breakthrough ideas to emerge from teams. Originality comes mostly from people working alone, in the shower, under the tree, by the seaside, at the home office, not at office meetings. Some people have storms in their brains, but they don't thrive in a brainstorm. For them, meetings are a waste of time. They encourage excessive conformity and they kill good ideas. These people don't believe in the wisdom of crowds. These people, though, can be very valuable. But unfortunately, most managers won't tolerate behaviors that threaten team spirit. Solo or teamwork? Both, actually. What leaders must manage is what proportion of solitude and collaboration are best, and at which time. Tip number 2 then is a plea to power up both individual and team innovation. So your emotionally intelligent CEO should declare that we have challenging expectations for innovation from each person and from all teams. We have physical spaces for individual work and teamwork, and we provide collaborative platforms and coaching on personal and team development. The third paradox asks, what's your appetite for change and continuity? Of course, innovation is impossible without change. Innovation calls for new structures, new processes, and new perceptions of powers and status. Change cuts into work time and leisure time and causes stress. In organizations, people crave for continuity. But even in today's normal, which is furious change, we need breathing space for innovation and consolidation. Change and continuity are crucial. The trick is to maximize the breadth and the depth and the speed of change while managing continuity. So tip number 3 beckons leaders to manage change and continuity wisely. And your wise CEO will advise you that in our transformation, let us embed periods of consolidation so people take in what is happening and make the best of it. Let us reflect and learn from our mistakes, and let us resist the emergence of new entrenched interests. The final paradox is a little more philosophical. How do we distribute power between imagination and reason? We all find meaning in things we can't rationally explain. Things like magic, dreams, emotions, spirituality, instincts. Then there's logic, cause and effect, facts, deduction, hypothesis, falsifiability, experimentation. I'm sure we all appreciate the immense value of scientific method. But in fact, most great ideas have their origins in non-rational thinking. Newton saw an apple falling from a tree and the moon up there before he theorized that they might be governed by the same force, gravity. Einstein came upon the theory of relativity when he imagined he was traveling on a beam of light. Innovation calls for outcomes that are breathtakingly magical, as well as practical and implementable, therefore logical. Imagination and reason, of course. Tip number 4 urges the frequent use of both in sequence. Practice making the impossible possible systematically. Your creative CEO would say, imagination and reason are very productive companions. I count on all of you to use them both to confront the challenges of our company. No idea, no vision is too impossible for us to consider. And no idea, no vision will fly without questioning, analysis, and judgment. First imagination, then reason. So to summarize, tip number 1, design strategy formally and engage people in innovation. Tip number 2, power up both individuals and teams. Tip number 3, manage change and continuity wisely. And tip number 4, practice making the impossible possible systematically. And I'd like to conclude with an explorer's tale. In the early 16th century, when it had become clear that Christopher Columbus had discovered a new continent, the Americas, certain Spanish men of letters were not impressed, saying that, well, anyone could have done it. In response, Columbus picked up an egg and placed a bet that none of them could make it stand upright on the table. They all tried. They all failed. So Columbus then gently cracked the end of the egg and balanced it on the table. But that's easy. We can do that too, they said. Well, why didn't you? Replied Columbus. That's innovation the explorer's way. First imagination, then reason. Thank you.